Yesterday in the mail, we got a surprise, a brand new Canon R1, and we are so excited for this camera. There's lots of things we want to test out, but first of all, we have to set it up for FTP. So as sports photographers, the ability to send photos via FTP directly from your camera is essential. While we're at sporting events, we're constantly sending photos to our website so that our social media managers can pull those photos and post them on Instagram, Twitter, and everything else. So setting up FTP in your camera is a little bit daunting, especially if you've never done it before. So in this video, we're going to go step by step through the entire process, specifically for setting up the R1. Now, if you're using a camera other than the R1, check out the link down in the description below. We have PDF walkthroughs and videos of how to set up most major cameras to do FTP. So in order to send photos from your camera, you need three basic things. First of all, a camera that can do it. Secondly, you need an FTP site in which you can transmit the photos to. And finally, you need wireless connectivity, a network that you could connect to transmit the photos. When it comes to cameras, pretty much any camera made in the last 5 to 7 years can send photos via FTP. Well, we know the R1 can send photos, so we're covered there. So the next thing we need is an FTP site. Now, the most common FTP site is PhotoShelter, and it's something we've been using for many years, and it's really reliable. Now, if you're not a PhotoShelter customer, you may want to check out the alternative, which is called PicPortal. It's a brand new website created by one of our students, and it's actually the simplest and easiest website to use for FTP. All right, now that I'm in my PhotoShelter site, I'm going to create a new gallery. We're going to call it FTP Test. This is where the photos are going to end up after we send them from the camera. Then I'm going to go into Media and Upload Methods and create a new incoming FTP user. I'll be the person doing it. And then my destination will be that FTP test. And then we're going to change the credentials to make it simple. So Jaren will be the name, Jaren W will be the name, and then the password is going to be password. Guys, that's not really my password. Just for testing purposes, we'll use password. Okay. Now, what's really nice here is this comes up with a little pop-up window that shows you everything you need to put in the camera. You can actually copy that and save that in your password document if you'd like. But the server, the port, using passive mode, the username, and the password. Now, when it comes to camera connectivity, there's actually 5 different ways in which you could connect your camera to the internet. First of all, is really simple. The camera has an Ethernet port built in, and you can just plug an Ethernet cable directly into your camera. That's the most reliable and the fastest way for you to transmit data. Now, the downside of an Ethernet connection is availability. You often are in a place, especially when you're at a sporting event, where there's not Ethernet cables to plug into. So you need a wireless solution. The most common solution is just an existing Wi-Fi network that's in whatever arena or location you're at. The problem is everybody else is using that too. So sometimes it gets congested and it's really difficult to get onto. And in fact, another challenge that we have with wireless networks is if there's a splash login screen where you have to click, yes, I can join, and put your email, the cameras cannot use those. So another option is to use my cell phone. And I just use the hotspot on my cell phone. And honestly, that's one that almost always works for me. In fact, traveling with the football team last year, I used that in almost every stadium I went to and generally didn't have too many problems. Another option is to actually have a dedicated hotspot. I actually like to take a hotspot with me because my cell phone is on the AT&T network and my hotspot's on Verizon. And usually one or the other will be more powerful and have better bandwidth depending on the location you're at. So the final solution, and honestly probably my favorite solution, are travel routers. We made a video about travel routers earlier this year on our channel. You should go check that out. Travel routers are great because they allow you to connect to local wireless networks and bypass splash login screens. So your camera is actually connecting to a network created by your travel router, and then the travel router is connected to an existing wireless network. You can also connect Ethernet to them, and you can connect them to other hotspots to cut through the noise in a really crowded situation. One of the things you need to know about a travel router is you're going to have a power bank with it to power the router, but I actually have loved this solution, and every football game I've been to this year, I've used a travel router without a problem. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the camera menu. I've got a Ninja connected to my camera, and I'm telling you, I'm so excited to have a full-size HDMI port in the camera. It makes this stuff so much easier. Now, like I said, I got this camera yesterday, so nothing has been set up. So we're going to go into the Network Settings menu, which is this fourth menu, the purple menu. And I'm just going to Enable Network Settings. The way that a camera setup works is you have these 2 manual settings, communication settings and function settings. Comm settings are your wireless networks that you're using, what you're connecting to send images. And then function settings are kind of like your destination, where the photos are going to end up, those FTP websites. So I actually like to set these up manually beforehand, and then together we're going to combine these into a connection setting. And the connection setting is where you can predetermine what's the wireless network you're going to use and what is the destination. And you have up to 20 slots you can do, so if you can have one set up for each one of your venues or your type of events you're shooting. Let's go back into comm settings and let's go ahead and just manually set this up. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the very first network. Create with wizard, configure online, and hit OK. I'm going to go to Wi-Fi, hit OK. Now the camera is searching for a wireless network that it can connect to. I already have one set up here in the office, so it's going to go ahead and find that. And right there is BYU Photo. That's my test network. I'm going to enter my password, which is, I think I already told you, it's password. And then once I've entered the password, I'm going to hit the menu button or this OK button. And then hit OK. And now we're going to go IP address settings. We're going to go auto. We're going to disable TCP IPv6. And then we're connected. Right now the camera has connected to that wireless network. That's all we need to do on connections. So we're going to hit the menu button once, and we're going to come back and change it to function settings. Now this is that destination that we set up earlier in the computer. So the function setting, and then hit mode 1, first slot, and then create with wizard, FTP transmit, hit OK. I'm going to do just normal FTP mode. Okay, and then if I go ahead and pull up my photo shelter settings again, I know that my address setting is going to be that first server setting. So we're going to change these, delete these out. And photo shelter tells me that the server is ftp.photoshelter.com. And then once I've entered that, I'm going to hit menu. And then we already know that the port number is 21, and it's already what is defaulted here on the camera. But if you needed to change your port, you could do it here. Hit OK. And then it does ask us to enable passive mode, so we'll turn that on. And proxy, we're going to disable. Now here in login method, what that means is that's the username and the password that we used earlier. So I'm not going to do anonymous. I'm going to do login password. And this first thing is login name. And I already know that name is Jaren W. Okay, so I've got my name entered. I'm going to hit menu. Hit OK. And then now the password. So we'll delete what default's in there. And the password, again, is my most creative password, which is password. Okay, we're going to hit OK on the menu. And now I'm just going to let it go to the root folder, which is that folder that we created to receive those FTP things. But you can select a specific folder you want to send them to. But for our purposes, that FTP test folder is what it's going to send it to. So now that functions setting is saved to mode 1. So now I'm going to hit menu and then menu again, and we're going to switch up to connection settings. And since, again, all my slots are open, I'm going to make this very first set my set that I use. And we're going to change it to create from list. That way I'm going to use the information I've already pre-entered manually. I'm going to actually name this, and I'm going to name it test. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll name these connections for like the Marriott Center where we play basketball, or for the football stadium where we play football. I'll set them up so that it's easy to switch to those when I need to switch to them. Hit menu, hit OK. And now I'm just going to go to function setting and just select from list, and there's the one I already had preset. And I'm going to go to communication settings and select my BYU Photo wireless network. And now those are together in the same setting. And then by hitting the menu button at the bottom here, it's really important to remember to hit connect. Hit connect, yes, hit OK. Okay, and there we should be connected. And on the bottom of the camera, you're going to see this green lamp light up. That means that you are connected and everything is good to go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and connect right here. And now this is something I wish the engineers would change. I wish it would give you a little bit more of a visual cue that you're connected, everything's fine, don't worry about it. It really doesn't. Now before we actually send a photo, I'm going to do one thing. Well, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to change a few settings. So let's just go back to the main menu and go to the second menu, Transfer Images to FTP Server. And here we're going to change some items in FTP transfer settings. The first thing I want to change is automatic transfer. I think it's defaulted to enable, and I want to disable that. When that's enabled, it sends every single photo that you take via FTP, and I think that's a mistake. First of all, if you send every photo, it's going to overwhelm your network, it's going to get behind, it's going to get clogged. It's not going to be an efficient way to do business. And then on the other side, the people you're sending the photos to are going to be overwhelmed with choices, and good and bad choices. And I've learned that if you give somebody else the choice of which photo to use, they're going to use the worst photo. So I'm only going to FTP out my selected photos. That means in a game I'll send maybe 50 to 100 images that are my favorite images, the ones that I actually want to get used. Next thing I'm going to change is this transfer was set, and I'm going to turn that to enable. And what that does is that it means that when I hit the set button on the back of the dial on my camera, it sends the photo. That's the quickest way to do it. I like it doing it that way. It's far more efficient. Another thing you want to look at is images to transfer. You can choose what files to send with your camera. You can choose to send the JPEGs or the RAWs or both or whatever. So in images to transfer, I'm going to choose this setting, JPEG only. I shoot RAW plus JPEG, but I don't send the RAW files. Again, it's the same reasoning. The RAW files take a lot to process. They take some knowledge and experience in Photoshop, and to do it right, it's hard to do. Plus, the files are so ginormous. If you're at an event, it takes a long time to send a RAW file. So I'm going to send only the JPEGs, and by clicking on this, you can see I can choose JPEG only, RAW only, or RAW plus JPEG. But just send the JPEGs. It's for social media. You do not need a RAW file for an Instagram post. All right, let's go ahead and take a test image. I'm going to take a picture of this screen over here in our portrait studio. Very exciting subject. And then I'm going to hit the play button. And then now you see on this screen, at the top, it shows that there's a wireless connection and then the signal strength of that connection. And then below that, there is this box with a square and then a set. When I hit the set button, it's going to send the photo. And let's go ahead and we're going to watch it appear over here on my laptop. So transferring, the green light's flashing on the back of the camera as it's sending the file. There you go, it's sent, and I'll refresh my browser here, and there it is. There's the image. That's it. That's the whole system. So when I'm at a sporting event, I'll be working like this, connected to my network, sending photos after they happen. So immediately after the play, I'll send a photo, usually an action and a celebration, especially for those big moments. In a football game, maybe a big catch or a touchdown. And that's basically how the system works. So there's another test I wanted to run. Both the R1 and the R5 Mark II have Wi-Fi 6 enabled chips or transmitters in the camera. And that's a big deal. That means you can use the 2.4, the 5, or the 6 gigahertz channels. But it's also much more powerful in sending images. So earlier this year we had a road game at SMU, and I had a lot of trouble sending images with the R3. I also had the R5 Mark II, so I pulled it out and it was able to send images without any problems. In very challenging situations, this chip is going to help you get images out. So we're going to run a quick test. Now, I did shoot a single RAW file on this camera, and we're going to send the RAW file on both cameras, the exact same file, using the same network, same settings, same everything, and time how long it takes to send them. So here we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and send right now. It's a pretty big file, and it's going to take 10 seconds, just 11 seconds actually, which is pretty respectable for a RAW file. Now we have great infrastructure here in our offices, but that's a big chunky file. So let's switch it over to the R1. All right, here we go. Well, 3 seconds. So it took a third the time. That's pretty good. And that's, like I say, that's something I've noticed with the R5 Mark II, and the R1 is the same. Super powerful transmitter, and it's going to help you in challenging situations get photos out of the stadium. All right, before I finish, there's a couple other quick tips I'd like to help you with. It always helps to keep your JPEG to be a smaller file so it'll send quicker. And let me just show you what my settings are. Okay, so currently I'm shooting compressed RAW and S1. And if you look at S1, the quality is at 8. That's about a 2 megabyte JPEG file, which is, it's big. And resolution-wise, S1 is, you know, almost 3,000 pixels wide. 3,000 pixels is plenty big enough to do pretty much anything you need to do with it on social media. One of the great things about FTP is if you have a pretty weak signal, it will still send the photo. It will just take a long time to do it. So you just have to be patient sometimes. If I'm in a challenging situation, I'm going to try different networks to see which one works the best. The travel router is another good solution for when you're in a really difficult situation. You can also scale down the size of your JPEG to make them even smaller to be able to get photos out. Now, if you're actually fortunate enough to have an Ethernet line which you can connect to send files, great. Let me show you how to set that up. So just come back into network settings and choose manual. And for comp settings, we're going to choose a new slot and create with wizard, configure online, and wired. Now again, the Ethernet cable is already plugged into my camera. I'm just going to do auto settings, disable TCP IPv6, which I should probably figure out what it actually does someday. And that's it, communication setting. So I'm going to go in to my connection setting, make a new connection, create from list, and I'm going to name it. I think it's really important to name those connections because you do end up with a lot of them. I'm just going to go Ether. And then hit menu for OK. And I'm going to choose my same destination, FTP transmit, and my wired connection. And there you go, it's that simple. Ethernet's great if you have it. A lot of arenas try to have drop lines that you can go and hurry send a bunch of photos out quickly or during a quarter break or at halftime. Definitely a good option, but for me, I'd much rather be untethered and be able to send photos in the moment. At a football game, I'm basically going to be getting the play, and then once the celebration of the play is over, don't send until the celebration's over. Then I'm going to hurry and send like my favorite action shot from the play and my favorite celebration shot so that my social media managers can immediately pull those, do edits, and then drop them on Instagram and Twitter and wherever else. During a typical football game, I'll send maybe 150 images. During a basketball game, maybe 50 to 100. Again, depending on how much action there is and what it is that are the needs of the social media team. And that's exactly how I do FTP on a game day. All right, that's it. Now I know that's a lot of information to process. Again, if you do have any questions, there's a PDF down in the description. Click on the link and you'll have a full PDF to every single step that we've gone through today. Really excited to test out the R1 this weekend. We've got basketball, football, and soccer. And I think those would be great sports for me to test out the capabilities of this camera, both with FTP and also autofocus and all the other things we want to try out. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you on the sidelines.